What's up, you guys? It's Ben and welcome to my channel. So on today's video I wanted to change things up a little bit. Most of the time we talk about selling on Amazon, setting up your own business, etc., and building out your passive income by selling on Amazon. Well, recently there has been a congressional hearing by the big four CEOs in America. Okay, those big four CEOs are Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, Tim Cook, and Google CEO as well, which I can't remember his name now. And what I wanted to do today is actually, I have to give a shout out to one of my subscribers, Sully, who gave me this great idea of do a reaction video of what the big man Jeff Bezos said himself to the Congress about, answering some of the more difficult questions that they gave to him. Now, before we start into the video, I need to sort of preface my comments because my main source of income is Amazon FBA. I've been selling on that for over 2.5 years, so I kind of have quite a good idea of how Amazon works as a business, their mentality behind pretty much everything they do. And I'm also invested in pretty much, now that I think of, every single other company that has been, in this sort of interrogation, so to speak. I've invested in Facebook, I've invested in Google, Apple, and Amazon. I actually haven't invested in Amazon, but obviously I'm selling on Amazon. So I'm very, very interested to know and to kind of see what Jeff Bezos have got to say to some of the more tougher questions by the Congress. So let's get to it.
I will tell you, a former Amazon employee in third-party sales and recruitment told this committee, quote, "There's a rule, but there's nobody enforcing or spot checking. They just say, don't help yourself to the data. It's a candy shop. Everyone can have access to anything they want." Do category managers have access to non-public data about third-party products and businesses?
Oh, they get to it straight away. So, of course they do. It's Amazon, it's a business, it's not a charity. Of course they're going to do everything they can to make sure they make as much money as possible. So for these senators to think that, Amazon is making sure that everybody gets paid and everybody makes, everything is equal, is obviously not going to happen. It's very weird that they even asked this question, to be completely honest, because if they have that data, of course they're going to use it. What world really are we living in? But let's see what it says.
Here's what I can tell you. We do have certain safeguards in place. We train people on the policy. We expect people to follow that policy the same way we would any other. It's a voluntary policy. As far as I'm aware, no other retailer limits their use of data at all.
There's no actual enforcement.
Let him speak. Jesus Christ. Good God. Very interesting interview, I must say.
No actual enforcement of that policy. So it's voluntary and there's no actual enforcement. So maybe that answers my...
Sorry. No, I think I may have misspoke. I'm trying to say that the fact that we have such a policy is voluntary. I think no other retailer even has such a policy.
well, that's...
The policy is meaningless. At the end of the day, you're trying to make as much money as possible for Amazon. Nobody else. Amazon. What part of this do the senators not understand? But hey,
of that policy, we would treat that like any internal policy, and if we found that someone violated it, we would take action against them.
You have access to data that your competitors do not have. So you might allow third-party sellers onto your platform, but if you're continuously monitoring the data to make sure that they're never going to get big enough that they can compete with you, that is actually the concern that the committee has.
Amazon never restricts you by getting too big or anything like that. I can sell as many products as I like, and yes, Amazon does have very, very accurate data because at the end of the day, it's their database. But at the same time, we are able to use, tools like Helium 10, Jungle Scout, and we can spy on other people's sales and reviews and various other things as well. It might not be as accurate data as possible, but we still have information that is similar to Amazon. So not entirely sure what exactly they're getting at here.
And, I think your company started in my district. I want to thank you for that. I want to thank you for the work that you've done.
Really? Do you? Doesn't sound like you're very happy with them.
That the whole goal of this committee's work is to make sure that there are more Amazons, that there are more Apples, that there are more companies that get to innovate
More Amazons and more Apples. So you're trying to tell me you want to kill off the high street just that little bit faster, huh? Okay, interesting. I mean, if they do want to bring out more Amazons and more Apples, why not promote other businesses? Why not give them government grants and schemes and tax benefits and breaks to kind of promote that competition as opposed to interrogate the richest man on earth? But let's see how it goes, huh?
And small businesses get to thrive, and that is what we're trying to get.
I am thoroughly enjoying this, by the way.
That is why we need to regulate these marketplaces so that no company has a platform so dominant that it is essentially a monopoly. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
We heard from a small apparel company that makes and sells what they call useful apparel for people who work on their feet and with their hands, like construction workers and firefighters. This particular business discovered and started selling a unique item that had never been a top seller for the brand. They were making about $60,000 a year on just this one item. One day they woke up and found that Amazon had started listing the exact same product, causing their sales to go to zero overnight. Amazon.
It's called competition. It's called you adapt to change and move on. Otherwise, you will be kicked out, like many businesses have been by Amazon. It's not Amazon's fault they're doing so well. It's the other retailers that need to step up their game. At the end of the day, Amazon has spent billions of pounds and dollars on warehouse, on logistics, on everything that gives them this upper hand. What's the problem?
Undercut their price, setting it below what the manufacturer would generally allow it to be sold, so that even if they wanted to, they couldn't match the price.
Oh, so sad.
The apparel company described working with Amazon, and I quote, Amazon strings you along for a while because it feels so good to get that paycheck every week. And in the past, for lack of a better term, we called it Amazon heroin. Because you...
Heroin. Very interesting. Not being dramatic at all.
Kept going, and you had to get your next fix, your next check. But at the end of the day, you find out that this person who was seemingly benefiting you, making you feel good, was just ultimately going to be your downfall. End quote.
It's called good customer service, okay? It's good customer service. They have done something better than any other retailer have tried to do. Walmart, Costco, Tesco's, any big retailer you can think of, they can't compete with Amazon. What's the problem? You either join them or you get crushed. It's as simple as that. That's the world we live in. We have to accept that. I have. They haven't, clearly.
Mr. Bezos, this is one of your partners. Why on earth would they compare your company to a drug dealer?
Sir, I have great respect for you in this committee, but I completely disagree with.
He has no respect for them. I wish he actually turned around and actually turned down the political correctness and be like, what on earth are they talking about? But he's handling himself very, very well.
Characterization. What we have done is create in the store a place. You could go back in time. We sold only our own inventory. It was a very controversial decision inside the company to invite third-party sellers to come into what is really our most valuable retail real estate, our product detail pages. We did that because we were convinced that it would be better for the consumer. It would be better for the customer to have all of that.
And it has been. I mean, because of the third-party retailers, now customers have much more choice to choose from, and the price has gone much better as well because there's far more competition. So it has been beneficial for the customer. Jeff is right.
Selection. And I think we were right, and I think it's worked out well.
We're claiming my time. Unfortunately, this is one of...
Why can't he let him finish? It's so rude.
We're claiming my time, Mr. Bezos. This is one of many small companies that have told us during this year-long investigation that they were mistreated, abused, and tossed aside by Amazon. The evidence we've collected shows that Amazon is only interested in exploiting its monopoly power over the e-commerce marketplace to further expand and protect this power. This investigation makes clear that Amazon's dual role as a platform operator and competing seller on that platform is fundamentally anti-competitive, and Congress must take action.
So they spent billions and billions and billions on the infrastructure. They provided thousands and hundreds of thousands of jobs. Now they got big enough to potentially start benefiting from all of that investment. And Congress needs to do something about it. You know, it's clearly wrong. It's clearly what they're doing. Their business is just doing too well. Clearly too well.
Mr. Bezos, are stolen goods sold on Amazon?
Yeah. just like eBay, just like every other online platform that's still surviving.
Congresswoman, not to my knowledge, although we're more than a million sellers, and so I'm sure that there have been stolen goods
Really, Mr.
sold on
Bezos?
Amazon.
Really, Mr.
I'm
Bezos?
sorry.
At least he's honest. I'll give him that. Wow.
There's not? You don't believe that there is? That
said-
surprises me.
No, I just said I'm with over a million sellers. I'm sure that it has happened, but certainly I don't think it's a large part of what we're selling.
Okay, so Mr. Bezos, basically then you're saying yes.
And
I guess so.
Mr. Bezos, thank you so much. You said that sellers have many other attractive options to reach customers, but that's not at all what we found in our investigation.
ooh, look at this. That is very, very interesting. And it's their fault. It's their fault for taking up 47% of all US retail e-commerce sales. It's their fault that they can provide one-day premium prime delivery, whereas no other retailer can. Oh, shame on you, Amazon.
And according to eMarketer, a source Amazon cited in submissions to this committee, Amazon has nearly 7 times the market share of its closest e-commerce competitor. One seller
Naughty, naughty Amazon.
that, and I quote, Amazon continues to be the only show in town. No matter how angry sellers get, they have nowhere else to go. So are you saying that these people aren't being truthful when they say that Amazon is the only game in town?
Yeah.
Yeah, Congresswoman, with great respect, I do disagree with that. I believe that there are a lot of options, and some of them are not even listed on that chart. I just looked at it briefly, but I didn't see some that I know of, for example. So I think there are a lot of things.
Okay, thank you. All right, thank you for that.
They never even let him finish. Good God, no respect for you. I wish you had less respect for them, to be honest.
There are more and
Mr.
more every
Bezos,
day.
my time is short. If Amazon didn't have monopoly power over these sellers, do you think they would choose to stay in a relationship that is characterized by bullying, fear, and panic?
They're free to leave.
With all respect, Congresswoman, I do not accept the premise of your question. That is not how we operate the business.
Okay. All right.
And in fact, we work very hard to
Thank you
provide
for that.
fantastic
Thank you for
tools
that.
for sellers, and that's why they've been successful.
Thank you for that.
Do you believe that the Chinese government steals technology from U.S. companies? Mr. Bezos?
Yeah.
You're on mute.
Mr. Bezos, I believe you're on mute.
I'm sorry. I'm saying I have heard many reports of that, and I haven't seen it personally, but I've heard many reports of it.
So of all the different products that Amazon carries, you haven't seen that in any of the companies that sell products on Amazon or your company yourself?
He doesn't care.
Oh, well, certainly there are knockoff products, if that's what you mean, and there are counterfeit products and all of that. But the Chinese, if the answer is the Chinese government stealing technology, that's the thing I've read reports of, but don't have personal experience with.
Amazon is $1 trillion company, but Amazon customers are not guaranteed that the products purchased on your platform are authentic. Amazon acts like it's not responsible for counterfeits being sold by third-party sellers.
If you don't like the product, you can return it and get a full refund. You should know that, Mr. Johnson.
On its platform. And we've heard that Amazon puts the burden and cost on brand owners to police Amazon's site, even though Amazon makes money when a counterfeit good is sold on its site. More than half of Amazon's sales come from third-party sellers.
Amazon is run by bots. It's impossible for them to actually know which product is counterfeit and which one isn't. It's just how it is. You can't employ millions and millions of people to check every single product. It's just not feasible.
Counts. Why isn't Amazon more aggressive in ensuring that counterfeit goods are not sold on its platform? And why isn't Amazon responsible for keeping all counterfeit products off of its platform?
Because we make too much money off them. That's why.
Thank you. This is an incredibly important issue and one that we work very hard on. Counterfeits are a scourge.
To be honest, that is correct, because they're now making it harder. You need to actually provide your title, your brand name beforehand. If you don't have a valid brand name, they will make your life a little bit harder. So he is telling the truth.
Are problem that is not, it does not help us earn trust with customers. It's bad for customers. It's bad for honest third-party sellers. We do a lot to prevent counterfeiting. We have a team of more than 1,000 people that does this. We invest hundreds of millions of dollars in systems that do this. We have something called Project Zero, which helps brands serial individual products, which really helps with counterfeiting. We have
I'm glad that
other
you have
programs
those
as well.
I'm glad that you have those features in place, but why isn't
which he has never heard of, most likely.
Amazon responsible for keeping all counterfeit products off of its platform?
We certainly work to do so, Congressman, and we do so not just for our own retail products, but for third-party products as well.
So, Mr. Bezos, does Amazon use confidential information that companies share via AWS to build competing services?
Yes. And so what?
No, sir, not that I'm aware of. AWS does often, they do keep expanding their services. AWS started,
You might not be aware of it, but they do it.
15 years ago. We invented this entire category.
Let me just clarify that, Mr. Bezos. I appreciate that. Sorry, I apologize for interrupting, but
He apologized. Thank you, Mr. Nagoose. Well done.
last week, one of Amazon's former engineers posted online that he and his team, quote, proactively identified growing businesses on AWS, that they built competing products, and that they targeted those products to the business's customers. And there's been public reporting on that strategy. So I guess I wonder if you can comment on that and how you would account for those statements.
Well, I think there may be categories, some databases of different kinds and so on, where we see that it's an important product for customers, and we make our own product offering in that arena. But it doesn't mean we stop servicing the other companies that are also making those products. We have
just introduce some of my own competition, get more money. Simple as that, really. It's capitalism at its finest.
Competitors using AWS, and we work very hard to make them successful. Netflix is one example, Hulu is another, and so on.
Your own documents make clear that the price war against diapers.com worked, and within a few months it was struggling, and so then Amazon bought it. After buying your leading competitor here, Amazon cut promotions like Amazon.mom and the steep discounts it used to lure customers away from diapers.com, and then increase the prices of diapers for new moms and dads. Mr. Bezos, did you personally sign off on the plan to raise prices after Amazon limited its competition?
I don't remember that at all. What I remember is that we matched competitive prices, and I believe we followed diapers.com. Again, this is 11 years ago, so you're asking a lot of my memory, but I believe we followed diapers.com. I can also tell you after we bought diapers.com,
okay,
we put more than $300 million into trying to make it successful.
I'm sorry. So you said that Amazon focuses excessively on customers. So how would customers, especially single moms, new families, how would they benefit when the prices were driven up by the fact that you eliminated your main competitor?
Well, I don't agree.
We provided better service, we provided more information, we gave reviews, the products were probably better. Many things happened.
Great respect. I don't agree with the premise. At the same time,
Jeff has got so much respect for them.
You should recognize in context, diapers is a very large product category sold in many, many places, not just at Amazon.
This was
and
the
diapers.com.
online diaper market. Now, we do have evidence that these predatory...
and Kroger,
I'm sorry,
and
Mr. Bezos,
Walmart,
I need to push on here.
Of course,
The evidence we've collected suggests that the predatory practices weren't unique here. In 2013, it was reported that you instructed Amazon employees to approach discussions with certain business partners, and I quote, the way a cheetah would pursue a sickly gazelle. Is the Gazelle Project still in place, and does Amazon pursue similar predatory campaigns in other parts of its business?
Are very, very focused on the customer, as you started. And of
Well,
course, that
I'm
does
concerned
include
with the
bargaining very
customers
hard
as
with
well,
vendors and
especially
suppliers
the
to get the lowest
families in my
prices so that we can
district.
offer
I'm
those to
sorry,
customers.
Mr. Bezos, well, I'm almost out of time.
My
I'm
family.
concerned too, because especially with the current pandemic, one of the biggest needs I'm seeing at the food drives and the giveaways that we're having to run in my district is that families
And you want to get
don't have
re-elected, don't you?
diapers and we have to collect them to give them out. So it certainly is something that has a really hard impact on families, and I'm really concerned that pricing might have been driven up here by this tactic, and I yield back.
So that's pretty much it for today's video. I hope you guys found this useful. I found it really, really funny, to be completely honest. I think Amazon, Jeff Bezos handled himself extremely well. I actually thought the senators were really rude. If they are so worried about the lack of competition and bad tactics or whatever, they should promote competition. They shouldn't be going after the biggest competitor, but they should be promoting competition. They should be giving money to other big retail giants in the US market to build their networks up, to build up, to potentially, to compete with Amazon. They should be helping out the likes of eBay or Costco or Walmart to build out their fulfillment centers and get third-party retailers on board to, compete with Amazon. Because I know for a fact, if I heard that shops like Tesco's in UK or Walmart or Costco or whatever started doing third-party selling, I would be very, very interested in selling on there as well, because that's just much more customers to go out to, probably better prices and less fees for us as sellers. So that's how you get change. That's how you make change, as opposed to trying to regulate these big trillion-dollar companies, which is never going to happen. But that's just my opinion. Thank you so much for watching. I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.